everyone. This is Adlane Fellah, Chief Analyst at Maravedis Research. Welcome to today's new episode of the Industry Shakers. It's my pleasure to have two guests today for the price of one. So we have Patrick Albus, who's the CEO of Gigstreem, and Florencio Bulanhagui, who's the CTO of Gigstreem. Welcome, gentlemen.
Well, thanks for having us on your show. This is great for us to broadcast what Gigstream is about.
Absolutely. The show is growing. We have almost 4,000 subscribers now that are eager for the next episode. So I'm eager to know more about Gigstream. Tell us about your company and services, Patrick.
Yeah, just simply put, is Gigstream delivers internet to multifamily properties. We handle everything from design to construction to ongoing support. Our network we created the network we build creates a wireless mesh so residents can experience internet throughout the property. We also power all the on-prem technologies, IoT, virtual tours, back office. And then the last thing is we offer CapEx financing. So to enable property owners access to incremental NOI and upgrading their technologies with no cost.
Just a clarification, when they deploy your technology, who owns the equipment or the connectivity infrastructure?
Yeah, that depends based on contract. Each contract's different, and also it's based on what the property owner's focus is.
Okay. Now, as you know, I've been speaking to a lot of MSPs, and I still have a hard time understanding who's unique, what's unique about each company. Enlighten me. What's unique about Gigstream?
I think there's a lot of the same. Where we're trying to differentiate and really win the space is having the best, most seamless customer experience. And that's what we built the company around. So I've been the CEO for 14 months, and we've changed and actually reorganized our whole business around the customer. And what we've done is back this by over $2 million of investments this year. We plan to increase in 2026. And I think that level of investment is not what the rest of the competition can simply match. So we believe that by combining a superior service, having the best possible response, and then having customer first culture, we're able to create a differentiated experience for the resident and the property owners and on-prem staff.
Okay. Hi, everyone. This is Adlane Fellah, Chief Analyst at Maravedis Research. I'm very excited today to present to you our new MDU Connectivity Research annual subscription service for 2025-2026, starting Q4 2025. The service comprises a number of deliverables, starting with the quarterly research reports focusing on each of the sub-segments composing the MDU market. Each quarterly research reports will be followed by a client-only analyst briefing to answer any questions you may have. Optionally, you can also get access to two Maravedis Market Score reports, one dedicated to MSPs and the other to wireless LAN vendors, that are combining information from NPS score and market sentiment. Those are very unique because they're specific to MDU, and information is coming from online service from the market. And finally, you get access to ongoing support throughout the year with me. Thank you very much for your attention, and I look forward to answering any further questions. All right, so we want to switch back and forth between business and technical questions. So we have the opportunity to ask some questions to you, Flo. Can you tell us which wireless LAN equipment have you deployed, and kind of what sort of issues do you run into managing multiple vendors?
Yeah, so at Gigstream, we're primarily deploying Ruckus. I know a lot of operators have moved around between multiple vendor stacks, but we've decided to focus on a single vendor solution. And the reason for that is it gives us the opportunity to really do one thing and do it well. We're tightly ingrained and connected with the Ruckus MDU leadership team. So they developed a specific vertical specifically for MDUs. And we work with that vertical team to provide feedback and buy in on their feature and product roadmap. And then because of that, we don't have a lot of vendors to deal with, but when we do have multiple vendors, the concept of an open solution out there, like tip open Wi-Fi, we keep that in the background, right? So we spend a lot of time working on our core product, which is Ruckus, but then behind the scenes, the team is consistently looking at other solutions to make sure that if we end up in a vendor lockout scenario, COVID was an important example of that, right? During COVID, we had Gigstream, we had to pivot, right? We were deploying a lot of Ruckus, and then there were some challenges. We had to shift to another vendor short term. And so having an open solution as a backup to that is definitely going to allow us to keep delivering a consistent product.
Just to understand the context here, what's the size of your network? How many units and access points have you deployed?
70,000 access points deployed. Yeah.
That's pretty big network. Okay. Now going back to you, Patrick, there are different segments out there that constitute what is called multifamily, where senior living, conventional rental, affordable housing, student housing. Any market segments you're most excited about?
Well, I think all four spaces are growing fairly rapidly and are interesting to play in, and our technology performs well in all of them. It's just a different end user. But that being said, I'm most excited about is the conventional multifamily. And so you start thinking about apartment complexes, condos, HOAs. And the reason is this segment represents such a massive opportunity. There's over 20 million or so units in the US, penetration rates in the low single digits, and then it's a fragmented market. So there's no dominant leader. To me, this is a great space to play in and for us to grow and actually help define.
Okay, cool. Makes sense. Now back to Flow on the technical side, there's been a lot of talk about, issues around deploying WPA3, given that, the support of different vendors was, kind of building on proprietary solutions. Have you run into issues with WPA3?
Yeah, we have. I think in our case, the challenge is how WPA3 is being implemented in relation to DPSK. There's many ways to do that, right? It fundamentally changes the way WPA2 and DPSK work when they move to PA3. So the good news is our vendor that we've primarily chosen, Ruckus, has a good path for that, right? And so we've been working through the testing with that. We do have a portal which leverages another vendor, and we've actually been able to have conversations both with Ruckus and that other portal vendor for them to work together to actually create a way for WPA3 and DPSK to work together well. So we're very close to launching our Wi-Fi 7 solution that leverages PA3 and DPSK.
Well, since you mentioned Wi-Fi 7, when do you expect to deploy Wi-Fi 7 and why?
Well, the why for Wi-Fi 7 is because of all the advanced features, right? Better bandwidth and more stability. Adding the additional 6 gigahertz spectrum allows for a significant a new branch of real estate for a Wi-Fi to exist in, right? So that's the reason why deploying Wi-Fi 7. But the other thing is that when we deploy Wi-Fi 7, we're running into requests from the telecom consultants, right? So within the telecom consulting space, they define RFPs or they define the criteria for RFPs, and then we respond to those. And we're starting to see that out there, right? And so when a RFP comes through with a Wi-Fi 7 requirement, in order for Gigstreem to stay competitive, we have to be able to reply to that and to deliver that product.
Okay, that's a good point. I'll get back to you, Patrick, in a moment. But since you mentioned also telecom consultant, I had a question about that. And who do you work with? Why are they so important in this business?
So within the engineering side, we don't directly deal with the consultants on a direct basis, but our sales teams are in front of them all the time, and they transfer the requirements over to us, right? And the sales consultants, the telecom consultants, they're the ones that are effectively defining the ask, right? What the customer wants. And so they're educating their customers and clients on what's out there and what's the best next step for their network to future-proof it. And then they're putting that into requirement form. And then so when it comes to us, it's effectively like the roadmap for us on where we need to be in order to be competitive in this space.
Gotcha. All right. Going back to you, Patrick, we know these programs or contracts last between 5, 7, 10 years. How do you envision the price of broadband connectivity to evolve? And how do you make sure that what you're selling today is still worth what you're delivering 10 years from now?
Yeah, so I think if you look historically, I think broadband pricing will remain relatively stable for the consumer. The shift in value is going to go from right now, there's a focus on speed, and we'll be going to experience. And so the residents want reliability, they want coverage, and the property owner wants, if there's a problem, that their customer is being taken care of. So as we start thinking about connectivity as a utility, similar to water or power, property owners want to make sure that is actually occurring on a reliable basis. Residents then also, from their side, want to be frictionless. They want to always be on. They don't want to have to worry about connecting to the internet. It just happens. And so that's what's going to happen is the companies that will, that can deliver on that value, which is the reliability and the coverage and the care piece and aspects of it, they'll define the next generation of broadband.
Okay. And now continuing with you, Patrick, what are your biggest business challenges then?
So the biggest challenge is as you scale, you want to actually maintain, and we actually don't want to just maintain, is we want to improve the customer experience. And so with growth comes complexity, more properties, more users, more customers. And you have to ensure every residence gets that high quality experience. And going back to, reliability, you need to deliver something that's reliable. So we have to make constant investments in people, process, and technologies. And so we continue to make those investments so we can expand our ability to automate and expand our reach to the customer. So everything happens in a very systematic manner. And then the analytics piece we want to utilize, and Flo's team it plays a really large role in this, is we want to use analytics to anticipate issues before they actually impact the end user.
Right. Which is excellent segue to my next question for Flo, which is how do you use AI to facilitate your work as a CTO?
Yeah, so for me, using AI, it's a matter of being able to analyze data in a way that's faster than I can do it myself, right? Like we've developed these traditional workflows where you load things into a spreadsheet and then you look for correlations, right? AI allows a lot of that to happen in ways, one, quicker, and two, more consistently, and to even draw conclusions that I would not be able to see on my own. Additionally, AI allows us to take events and correlate them across large stacks of data, right? So we can take the network alarms from our network monitoring systems. We can take customer calls and complaints and dispositions and mush those all together through AI. And AI can tell us, hey, you might want to focus on this particular thing because everything is centering or is common to this nexus of data, right? The other thing that AI has been doing a great job for us recently is with our partnership with Ruckus. Ruckus platform is using AI to manage the RF dynamics, right? The power levels, channel selection. In the past, there's an algorithm, but the concept of an algorithm is it's a predefined formula that says, do this, do this, do this, do this, and then stop and rinse and repeat. AI has the ability to do that and then iterate on itself, to change, right? To identify this new variable is coming and incorporate it. So with AI and the Ruckus platform, I'm able to have my radios, 800 radios at a residential property consistently being tweaked for power and channel selection over and over and over, where an algorithm can't evolve or a human just can't cover 400 or 500 properties at the same time. So I'm getting a lot of scale from using AI.
Yeah, fair enough. Exciting stuff, on the radio resource management. And yeah, back to Patrick for a final question. If you had a magic wand, what service would you add to become more successful?
It's not about a service. For me, I'm a people person. It's all about having the right people. So our business is built on talent and teamwork. And if I could wave that magic wand, I would want to actually acquire in an accelerated fashion more top tier talent. Keep adding to our team. I want people that are passionate about our product. They want to innovate. They want to do things the right way, and they want to lead. And at the end of the day, it's great people deliver great experiences. And that's what will actually drive sustainable long-term success.
Okay. So the talent and human resources. What about you, Flo?
Yeah, so I'm going to answer that question more in the literal way, right? Like what actual technology, because I'm a technology guy. Two of them come to mind. One of them would be affordable, low latency wireless backhaul within the property, right? Eliminating the need for structured wiring, right? Because that's one of our biggest challenges today. We have to find a way to go into an existing building and get cat cable, through walls where people live, punching holes in walls, fixing drywall, all of those things. That's a challenge. If we could find a solution where an AP could also have a low latency backhaul that was affordable, because it exists out there today, it's just not affordable. That would be a revolutionary for us because we could stick APs anywhere they're needed now and they would work. The other one for me is just AR overlay of Wi-Fi signals. So like today, I send a tech into a home and the tech is walking around. He can do a heat map, but remember, Wi-Fi is in a 3D space, and oftentimes a heat map shows it's just a flat object, right? So you'll see pink or red or green on the floor. Imagine if a technician could put a pair of goggles on and look around and see where the Wi-Fi was or wasn't, right? And then that would help them address coverage issues. And you can even educate a customer, have them look through the thing and say, look, this is why, because above your washer, your dishwasher, or above your washing machine, there's no coverage. And that's why I need to relocate this AP. So something like that.
Okay, so some VR, AR glasses where you can see the actual energy around the space.
Exactly.
Okay, that sounds pretty cool. Yeah, I haven't heard that before. Well, that's all for me, folks. Today, really appreciate the very precise and quick answers to my questions. So to the audience, thanks for listening. Please like, subscribe, share, and maybe I'll see you at UpTech 2025.
Absolutely. Thanks, Adlane.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.